Good evening and welcome to the 6 p.m. City Council meeting of October 7th, 2025. Please note all council members are present. With that, I will turn the time over to Vice Chair Heyer, who I think we have a volunteer from the...
We do, Chair. We've got Zakai Nestoriak is here and would love to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can have him come forward now and direct us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Please take a moment of silence with me. Thank you. Next on our agenda is acknowledgements. Council members?
Yeah, and I just want to recognize the unfortunate events around Ben Lomond High School earlier today, and hits close to home. My daughter's a senior there, and to get that text message that there was a shooting is a little bit tough to take in. Also, I know not only obviously the students that witnessed or were there, how hard that could be, but also just the community. The Ben Lomond's a unique place. It's a phenomenal school it's just so close knit, and just knowing the teachers and the administration and staff that rushed to try and help. It was just some really good people there, and so just my thoughts are with them and prayers for those who are suffering and at this time. So
thank you.
And I'll give an amen to that too, since I'm an alumni from Ben Lomond.
Chair White, would you mind if I add to that?
Sure.
I knew Councilmember Ritchie would have a hard time with the news. For anybody that hasn't heard, there was a shooting that occurred near Ben Lomond High School. The victim was taken to the school for help, and our school resource officer was there to help. Unfortunately, he's since deceased. So we're going through a hard thing here in the city. We're going through some hard times here as a community and as a country. And it brings perspective and context to the work that we do here, that we are here to serve and to protect our people, and especially our most vulnerable, including our young kids. So I'm sorry to the family of the young man and to those who are close to him and who are in the school community. This is going to be a hard time and a hard event. But I promise you that this city will be there in every way that we possibly can be, not only to comfort the family, but to bring justice to the suspect or suspects as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other acknowledgements? Councilmember Chaburka, I think. Turn the time over to you.
Yes, well, again, yeah, I totally concur with the comments that were made, and I'm so sorry that our community has to face these things these days. On another note, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well, and we have representatives from the YCC here, which we appreciate so much. That's your community connection in Ogden, and it goes by YCC for short. And so I'd love to invite Danette Stanger up to the podium to talk about this month and why it's so important for us to acknowledge it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Danette Stanger, and I am the current Executive Director at YCC Family Crisis Center. This month, along with service providers across the country, we recognize Domestic Violence Awareness Month and take this time to center our thoughts and our efforts around the impact of domestic violence on survivors, on our community, on those who respond, and those advocates who walk beside them every single day. At YCC, we have a month-long calendar of events, but one of our main focuses this year is to recognize our community and the incredible partners who make this work possible. I am very proud of the staff at YCC and the work they do every day to support victims, but we truly could not do it without our partners. Ogden City has always been one of our strongest supporters, and I want to publicly acknowledge the current administration and City Council for all that you have done. I see so many familiar faces here tonight, people that show up in substantial and ongoing ways to support our organization. And one exciting update I want to share tonight is a highlight of one of our newest programs, transitional housing. Without the support of Ogden City, this project would have never gotten off of the ground. We just celebrated 1 year of having that beautiful facility open, and we've already seen 6 families graduate through transitional housing into permanent supportive housing. More than 20 children have called that beautiful facility home, and we've watched parents rebuild their lives and end the cycle of violence that has lasted for generations. I also want to recognize the partnership we've had with Ogden City Police Department, from helping lead out on the lethality assessment protocol to providing financial support in substantial ways. Ogden City has always stood beside YCC in this work. This year is especially meaningful because we celebrate our 80th anniversary. For 8 decades, this organization has been part of the fabric of our community, offering safety, shelter, and hope. And I think those who started YCC all of those years ago would be so proud to see what it's grown into and how the community's support remains so strong up until today. So tonight, on behalf of myself, our staff, and the clients that we serve, I want to come with a message of gratitude and hope for continued partnership. Thank you so much for standing with survivors and helping make Ogden a safer, stronger community for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
We acknowledge your staff that's here tonight, too.
The staff at YCC is truly remarkable, and we have our development director, our victim assistance director, and Brenda Jacobson, Keisha Christensen, and Amber Paso with us tonight. They're some of the leadership that helps us strive to do the very best work possible at YCC, and they are just amazing. So thank you to them for coming tonight.
Thanks, Jeanette.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say thank you again so much. And of course, thank you to the administration for the support, the ongoing support of YCC and that partnership. One of the challenges we have, like many not-for-profits in the area, but particularly in this case, one of the challenges is we'll serve anyone, of course, in the region or even the state that might come to the doors at YCC, and of course, in partnership with the police department. But not every community kind of steps up and makes sure that they also provide financial support to help the work happen, because I think it's so challenging. This topic is so sensitive. People often don't want to admit that these things are happening in their very own community, right? And so I think it is challenging to know that this can happen to anyone, any walk of life. That we say all the time, it doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, what neighborhood you're living in, or where you are, and in many different ways, it can impact you anywhere. So that's a really important message. So we really appreciate Ogden City's support.
Thank you.
Chair, can I also just comment and piggyback on that? And not only I think it's remarkable the work that you do. Danette and I went to high school together, and you'll say, Ken, how's that possible? You look so much older than her. But it is true.
Thank you.
But not only the support for those who are in crisis mode, but also the ongoing education efforts that they do, which is just tremendous to try and help people maybe prevent getting into difficult situations like this. So I know that I certainly hope that we can continue to support as a council and as the administration, as a city, but also individually as we look at there's fundraising opportunities throughout the year, and funds are desperately needed. And so
Absolutely.
as those come about, I hope we can all kind of dig deep and try and help out.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Mayor.
I want to thank you for your support as well, and just know you'll always have our support. I recognize, and I don't know if people in the community realize that other cities are not stepping up the way Ogden is, and that's not right. Like Councilmember Chaburka said, this is not just an Ogden City issue. This is an every city, every community issue across the country. And I just want to let you know that some of the support that you can count on from me is I'm trying to get the other mayors to think about this differently. there's a trend here in our county where Ogden City takes care of the lion's share of anything and everything that happens in the county. And that's one of the things that has to happen because when you're the big city and you're the county seat. But at the same time, there are very human consequences and circumstances that happen in every community. And it's not fair or right from a humanity standpoint that others are not stepping up the way Ogden City does. So that puts a disproportionate burden on our people and on our taxpayers, but it also doesn't alleviate the issues elsewhere. And one of the perspectives that I'm trying to share with the other mayors is that if that perspective doesn't resonate with you, what about the perspective of your officers arriving at domestic violence calls, which are the most dangerous calls for our officers to arrive on? Clearly, our police department's an important partner. But if they're not thinking about the circumstances and the lives in the homes, we need to also be thinking about the lives at risk when our officers respond to these calls. That's where we've had our most recent tragedies involving officers, is responding to domestic violence calls. So there's a lot more to this than people might realize. And it doesn't go away by itself. It's made to go away, and it's made to go away by people, by services, and by taking action. And action starts with recognizing the problem. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Mayor Nadolski not only has a mean golf swing, but he does speak up when in like WACOG, where it's one thing for me to go and ask for funding, but when a colleague that is, serving in the same capacity not only shows up with financial support, but challenges them to do the same, it makes a substantial impact, and we're very grateful for that.
And by mean golf swing, I think you mean mean slice. So thanks for noticing.
Well, she was playing on the other fairway. That's
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much tonight. And again, I just appreciate you guys. You really show up in meaningful ways. It's not just performative. We see you and we see the impact that you're making. And we really couldn't do this without you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Moving on to the rest of our agenda. So the approval of minutes, the regular meeting of August 26, 2025. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you, Chair White. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be accurate.
The special meeting of the Board of Canvass on August 26, 2025. Councilmember Chaburka.
Yes, Chair, I've read those minutes. They were very brief and they're accurate to my recollection.
That was a 10-minute meeting, right? Yeah. The work session of August 26, 2025. Councilmember Myers.
Madam Chair, I've reviewed those minutes of the meeting of August 26, 2025, and find them to be accurate.
All right. And the closed session of September 2nd, 2025. Councilmember Graff.
I looked for those minutes, and it was like the meeting was closed. There wasn't anything in there.
Nothing there.
So that is correct, because it was a closed session. And I move for adoption of the minutes as approved by this council.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Graff, second by Councilmember Myers. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Good job. Next on our agenda is reports from the Planning Commission. I think we have
right.
Brandon Trippian. The baby cooing is.
Thank you, Chair White.
I know. Sorry. It's cute.
Yeah, no, this is fun. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to present on the Frontrunner stationary plan. Just going to jump right into it. So in 2022, the state legislature adopted House Bill 462, which required cities to adopt stationary plans for public stations such as the Frontrunner station, which is a commuter rail, tracks, light rail, and as well as bus rapid transit stations that are served by a dedicated lane. And so tonight we're actually just focusing on the Frontrunner stationary plan, and this map highlights that area, as you can see in outlined in red. So the stationary plan area is a half-mile radius for a Frontrunner station, and so cities are required to adopt that stationary plan within that half-mile radius. So the House Bill 462 requires that the stationary plan promotes 4 objectives, and I'll just read those really quickly. The first one is to increase the availability and affordability of housing, including moderate income housing, The second is sustainable environmental conditions, so promoting reduced carbon emissions and encouraging more active transportation. Number three, access to opportunities. That includes jobs, education, and other services. And then the fourth is encourage transportation choices and multimodal connections. And as part of House Bill 462, cities are also required to update their general plans and their zoning ordinances to reflect the objectives in their station area plans. And then the final, requirement is cities are required to adopt at least 4 stationary plans by December 31st of 2025. And so just as a note, we have been working on the BRT stationary plan, which will include 5 additional. So prior to December 31st, 2025, our goal is to have at least 6 stationary plans adopted. So this shows the half-mile radius around the Frontrunner platform. You can see the downtown zoning. It actually encompasses a pretty large area of our downtown. Some of the areas that I'd like to highlight include the Wonder Block, which is outlined in the dashed yellow. You have the City Walk, which is a Lotus development, and then the Union Station neighborhood plan. So those all fall within that half-mile radius of the Frontrunner platform. So House Bill 462 actually gives cities 2 options to get a stationary plan certified. So the first option is just to adopt a new stationary plan. The second option is to adopt what's called prior actions. And because of all the work that's been done around the Frontrunner station, we're proposing to go the second route, which is to adopt a stationary plan that highlights all of the prior actions that have been accomplished within that half-mile radius. So here is a slide that just highlights all the different plans that we've adopted as the city. So in 2019, the city adopted the Ogden On-Board Plan, which was a stationary plan for the Frontrunner station as well as all of the OGX stations. And then in 2020, that's when the Downtown Master Plan was adopted, which included the area around the Frontrunner station. And then 2021, the Ogden On-Board Plan was amended to align more closely with the Downtown Master Plan. And then in 2022, the Union Station Campus Development Framework Plan was adopted. So all of these plans were adopted prior to June 1st, 2022. And part of the prior action stationary plan requirement is that we can show evidence that these plans have continued to be implemented. So this slide highlights those 4 plans that were adopted prior to June 1st, 2022. So you can see the downtown plan has been implemented through the Downtown Implementation Ordinance, which that adopted all of the regulations, zoning regulations, to carry forward the downtown plan. It also included new zoning for the downtown area. In 2024, there were several concepts that were, they weren't adopted, but they were, part of the implementation of the Union Station neighborhood plan, and concept C was highlighted as the preferred concept moving forward from 2024. Right now we're working on the Union Station neighborhood master plan, and we've done a lot of studies to continue that. And then also we reviewed the Wall Avenue corridor plan in our work meeting today. So that also highlights the ongoing work that we've been doing to carry this forward. So once a city adopts a resolution for a station area plan, it goes to the Wasatch Front Regional Council. They consult with UTA, and then they provide a recommendation to the Wasatch Front Regional Council's Regional Growth Committee. The Regional Growth Committee then provides a recommendation, and then Wasatch Front Regional Council, if approved by the RGC or Regional Growth Committee, they'll certify it, and then we'll receive a certificate of compliance. So that's kind of the process after the city adopts a station area plan. So staff's recommendation is that the City Council adopt a resolution to request that the Regional Growth Committee of the Wasatch Front Regional Council consider Ogden City's prior actions within the Frontrunner Station Area Plan area to substantially promote the 4 objectives of the Station Area Plan and be certified. Any questions?
I have a question, but and I think with regard to the one we're talking about tonight, I'm on board 100% on that.
Mm-hmm.
My questions really relate more to the station area plans, which I know is coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, where can we go to find any guidance on what does it mean to have increased the availability? I mean, is there a metric that they use to measure what that means for affordable housing, sustainability? I mean, all of these they're great goals, but I don't know what the metric that's going to be used to measure that. 3 of the station area plans have some overlap.
Correct.
Right?
On the Weber State campus.
The Weber State Central half-mile radius is practically the entire campus. And so, you know, there's just questions I have on meeting those requirements. And I know that's not tonight's discussion. I mentioned it in the work session. I just wanted to bring it up again just to make sure we're not caught flat-footed on some kind of we're trying to force something into something that may not be possible to even do. And
Absolutely.
so that's mainly my comments on that. So
Okay.
if there is any guidance on those, that's what I'd like
I'm
to see.
happy to reach out. Well, I can work with Byron with Wasatch Front Regional Council and ask him what the solution is, because you're right. The majority of that area is built out. So yeah, that could be a challenge.
And it's either parking lot at the event center or if it's the campus, you know, and I know there's some possibilities along 36th Street. And President Mortensen's talked about some things that I think sound interesting, that might meet some of that, but
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So yeah, I'll reach out to Byron at Wasatch Front and ask about that. Thanks.
There are some situations where it's impractical and impracticability. So there is some of that designed within the state statute as well. So, but I'm sure he'll be able to tell you more.
yeah, more to come.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? All right. So we will wait for the entire thing to be done before we try to submit to the Regional Growth Committee. Is that correct?
No, we were just planning on pushing this one forward and then
coming back and
coming back for the bus rapid transit stationary plans,
Okay.
which will be in a couple weeks.
All right. Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Receive public input.
Yep. I was just writing it out. This is an opportunity to receive some public input. If there's anyone that would like to touch upon the Frontrunner Station Area Plan. And there you go. An attendee with their hands up.
Linda Sanchez.
All right, Linda I'm assuming it's Linda Sanchez. Linda's iPhone.
Hi, Linda Sanchez. So when I was reading the packet, I just have a question. On that high density plan diagram, it has like multi-family residential, mixed use, but it has varying floors, and the highest being 5 to 8 floors. Is that, I was thinking that, I don't know, about a year ago, we were not wanting to put a whole bunch of stuff that was going to detract from the Union Station. But from what I'm seeing, it's right around the Union Station. And maybe I'm looking at this incorrectly. And it would be to the north, I believe, if I'm understanding. But I was thinking that within that whole area, we weren't wanting to put high density. And I don't know if you guys can just clarify that. Also, there was another form. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I had a question on one of the slides. It also, like a lot of you have already said, one plan goes into the next. At the bottom, let's see, it'd be page 16, the last page, 16 of 16. It's talking about, and I believe this is the wall corridor plan. They have not approved this yet, and so it was making me wonder why we are including stuff we haven't approved yet. And so anyways, and then there was one more question, but I cannot remember what it was and I didn't write it down. So if you guys could answer those for me, that would be great. Oh, there was on one of them, it shows that the bridge, which it showed that the bridge was going to come out a different place. So let me see if I can find the page. Maybe
15.
Maybe it's 15 out of 16, maybe, the page 15. It says the bridge reconfiguration, but it looks like it still shows where it is. So it was my understanding that the bridge was going to be reconfigured to come out at 23rd Street, I thought, but I could be wrong. If you guys could just clarify that for me. And I think I'll yield back. The rest of the stuff is just minuscule.
All right, great. Any other comments? All right, seeing no other public input, can we, Brandon, if you want to come up and answer a few of those questions. The high density one is the first question.
Yeah, so when the downtown zoning was adopted, it does include the, let's see, can I pull up my presentation again? Awesome. So the downtown zoning shows CMU on the stationary plan, or not the stationary plan, the Frontrunner neighborhood. But that framework plan that was adopted also includes refinement of that area. And so from the Union Station, I guess to the north and south, there's a height restriction that basically is like a 45-degree angle that protects the view of the Frontrunner station. So the CMU does allow for higher density housing, but the framework plan does protect that from the higher buildings.
So Brandon, in other words, the further you go north and south from Union Station, the taller the buildings may become.
Correct.
And the lower buildings, or the height of the buildings is more severely limited or strictly limited as they're closer to Union Station.
Absolutely.
So as not to shadow Union Station.
Correct.
Thank you.
As far as the bridge, so the 24th Street viaduct, that, well, it talked about the what was the name of it? Reconfiguration. So that is in the Make Ogden downtown plan to lower the bridge to Wall Avenue. However, UDOT that's in UDOT's phase 3, which is their like 30-year plan, and there hasn't been any funding allocated to that. So so that's in the plan, but we haven't made any progress on that so far.
And then the question about the wall corridor plan.
Yeah, so the prior action stationary plan requires that we show that we're making progress. And so although the Wall Avenue corridor plan hasn't been adopted by the city, it was part of the downtown plan to make that downtown section of Wall Avenue more pedestrian friendly. And so it's just evidence that's showing that we're making progress towards those 4 objectives.
Great. Any other questions?
Thanks for clarifying the questions. I wanted to help
He needs
with
a flag.
yeah, a little light maybe. I think for context for Linda Sanchez, I think what she's also referencing is some of our talk recently on the broader Make Ogden plan, where we and just so the public's aware, we found ourselves in a real challenge when macroeconomics, supply chain, inflation, et cetera, demand for housing, et cetera, happened across the country, and we did not have our general plan in place. That's why the general plan started shortly after I took office. We started, and it's a 2-year process about, right? Mm-hmm. And so in that plan, we are talking about how do we concentrate density more appropriately, because in the prior and in the current framework, it doesn't do that. And so we do have random places. And I think that's part of what she's referring to. And so in the upcoming cycle, we are working toward the best possible planning principles, which are to focus density in our downtown and around these major transit systems like the BRT. That is good, responsible growth and planning 101. And those are the kinds of decisions, if we don't make now, someone else will be making them for us, and it won't happen in the way we want it, and it'll happen a lot like we've had it happen in years prior. So I think there's some of that context.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Which is evident by HB 462 as the start of some of that. So, okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. No other questions?
Well, with that, Chair, if I may, I would propose, regarding proposed resolution 2025-17, I'd move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Graff, second by Councilmember Ritchie, to approve proposed resolution 2025-17. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Traburka?
Aye.
Councilmember Graff?
Aye.
Councilmember Myers?
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie?
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer?
Aye.
Chair White?
Aye, that passes. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is reports from administration regarding the proposed moderate income housing guidelines. Jeremy Smith.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here tonight to talk to you about the Middle Income Housing Program Guidelines. This is something we discussed in a recent work session, and we'll go over an overview of this again now. What the Middle Income Housing Guidelines are, we're talking about a new loan program that HUD has introduced. It helps develop a new program that encourages developers to provide housing opportunities to middle income households. And this is by adopting these policies, HUD extends additional financing towards market rate projects. In other words, what it's doing is allowing, if a developer agrees to make 50% of their units rented at 120% AMI, that they can receive additional financing for their project. Some of the requirements are that the development must comply for 10 years, and that's not renewable at the end of that term, and that the city certifies that the developer is in compliance with this annually. For what that means as far as middle income, this table demonstrates what they're talking about. From HUD's definition, they look at 120%. So if you look at a household size of 1, that first top line, a studio apartment, if someone was looking to rent that, their income limit would be $101,280 per year, and that the developer could not rent that unit for over $2,532. Just for perspective, we've included what that is currently the market rate for that similar apartment in Ogden, and we have it at just below $1,200 per month. So gives a little perspective and how this is still considered a market rate apartments. Well, there are restrictions on it. The gap in between the actual market rate and the limit is significantly high. So we saw this as a great opportunity to introduce additional financing to help some of the projects being introduced complete them to the level that they've been proposed, as well as provide an opportunity for some middle-income families to make sure that housing is available and targeted towards them. So again, that's for 50% of the units would have to comply with that. The city's obligation is that we would review this annually, and that would become part of our staff in community development. There's forms and stuff that the developer submits. We analyze those and make sure that they're meeting those requirements that HUD has outlined and do that manually. It's not an extensive burden on the city, pretty light. Most of that work is done by the developer and provided to us for our certification. So with that, we're recommending that City Council adopt a resolution approving the use of the middle income program guidelines as it applies to approved market rate developments. So that's it. Happy to answer any questions or if you have anything else.
Any questions for Jeremy? Jeremy, do you have any idea, going back to that previous slide, and I know that this is, so what is the AMI income of $1,116? Do you know about what that would be?
I can't do that math in my head. We could figure that out for you, but that's not that brave to even take a swing at it. I'm standing up here. I can tell you, 100, like an AMI, what that is, it's $81,000 per year right now, about that, 80 to 83. I can't remember where that math works out to, but that's what it is. So 120%, that's what puts you to that 101. And so it's market rate. I mean, if we look at that, just under 1,200, that's what we found as we do our own survey across Ogden and see what those apartments are renting for. So what people are renting for, you know, it's tough. That price is tough, but that is what currently is happening in the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Jeremy?
I think you answered the question I had. I just want to make sure the reporting requirements weren't too strenuous or difficult or expensive for the city, and I think we talked about that in the work session as well. So
correct. Yeah. We don't see this as burdensome at all.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Chair, with that, I would make a motion on proposed resolution 2025-18 that we adopt that resolution.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Ritchie, second by Councilmember Graff, to adopt proposed resolution 2025-18. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Jaburka?
Aye.
Councilmember Graff?
Aye.
Councilmember Myers?
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie?
Aye.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer?
Aye.
Chair White?
Aye, that passes. Thank you, Jeremy. And next on our agenda is new business, the proposed Youth Council Bylaws amendments.
Good evening, Council. My name is Brandon Garside. I'm the Communications Director for you all. And part of my responsibilities is the advisor of the Ogden City Youth Council. And we have tonight for you a few proposed bylaws amendments, as well as a somewhat of a semi-annual report in which we will review what we've done so far this year and what we have planned moving forward. So the bylaws that you will be considering tonight for adoption are pretty straightforward in nature. Just for simplicity's sake, we are proposing that we change the name of chairperson and vice chairperson to chair and vice chair respectively, just for ease. And then when it comes to leadership election guidelines, we ran into this situation this year with the election to automatically have a youth council member appointed to a position if they are the only one that showed interest for that position, and then have their name removed from other roles for consideration. Those are the only two things for your consideration tonight. And now we will go through our goals for the, well, first of all, let me back up. I apologize. I would love, we have three of the youth council members, all three of you. I would love to introduce yourselves, where you go to school, and what grade you're in, and why you're on the youth council.
Hi, my name is Alea Salgado, and I go to Ogden High School, and I am the chair of the Ogden City Youth Council.
Hello, I am Navette. I go to Ogden High, and I am the treasurer of the Youth City Council.
Hi, my name is Lily Boudreau. I am the public relations manager, and I go to New Ames North.
Great. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, yeah.
Awesome. So with that, we'll start with kind of the tours that we've gone. Yeah.
So the Ogden City Youth Council has two main goals. One, to explore the city and the jobs around it, and we do so by touring local facilities. And then our second goal is to give back to our community by carrying out service projects. So for our first goal, we have toured local facilities. We so far have toured one local facility, and that was the water treatment plant on the 23rd of September. And there we learned just about how the water in our city runs and works, and we learned that it is very clean water, and so we are a very lucky city. Coming up this month, we have a tour of the Union Station, and on an undecided date, we have a tour of the Public Safety Building. We also will have many more tours this year, but they are soon to be announced.
And since none of the three that here have been to Local Officials Day, I'll go ahead and talk about it, but that's coming up in January. We've confirmed the date for the 21st, and we're looking forward to that. Jason Gould from the Recorder's Office actually will give us a really good presentation about how to work with the state legislature, because he came from that side of things before he came to us in Ogden City, and has just an abundance of knowledge about how the legislature works. And his presentation last year was great, so we'll have him back. So yeah, we'll go down, we will have breakfast and engage in some activities that they'll have planned for us. Last year we had mock debates, which was really entertaining to watch, the different youth councils go back and forth. We'll have lunch, and then hear from the governor's office. The mayor last year was gracious with his time to, while he's down there lobbying for different things, he took a lot of time with the youth council and talked to them about what he was doing down there and his role. And we will have lunch with you as well, whoever is down there at Local Officials Day. And really cool opportunity to see how the state level connects here to us at the local level. So looking forward to that. It's a huge thing that we look forward to every year.
Hey, so our service projects, we do community dinners. So for Thanksgiving, I wasn't a part of the team last year, but we had a Thanksgiving community dinner where we helped serve food and just go around and make sure everybody was having a good time. We will be doing that again this year. Same with the Christmas community dinner. And every year we have a giant youth council community project where we've, as a team, come up with a way to benefit our community in a meaningful way. And that's our plans for this year. Thank you.
My favorite part are the social activities. We had games at the Marshall White Center, and I've been there for the first time so far, and it was very fun. We got to play Connect 4, and Brandon would always win, sadly, but we will get to that. We will try to win next time. We also played cornhole, which was very good for getting to know each other too, because we were still getting to know everyone else in the Youth City Council, so it provided a great time to connect and have fun. We also did the Human Knot game, which was very fun and actually successful, so I'm happy that we got out, as you can see.
And we'll continue to have those throughout the year just to build more camaraderie amongst the youth council, because we feel like the more camaraderie they have, the more likely they are to come back and do these other things that maybe aren't as fun as a social activity. The GYC. Do you want to talk about that, or is that me? It's me. I'll talk. She's like, no. So we talked about this a little bit in the work session. Of course, the Governing Youth Council is run by the Health Department, and we are working with them on a variety of different activities throughout the year. One of which is a dinner with a legislative dinner with leaders throughout the area. I sent you all an email if you're going to be there. If you want to be there, you can. Please let me know if you're going to. I know that Councilmember Chaburka will be there by default because of another responsibility on one of the other million things that she does.
Well, it's for the city council. I actually serve
Oh, it
on the
is?
Board
Okay.
of Health.
Oh,
Yeah,
the-
for Ogden City.
Right. Okay, I understand. All right, gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. So we actually have a training for that tomorrow, and then we will have the actual dinner on the 27th. They also have a day down to the Capitol. It's separate from Local Officials Day, so I don't know how that's going to work. But I suppose if kids don't have the chance to go down on the 21st, they can on this other time, which I believe is still during the session. So yeah, working closely with GYC has been good, just to help us round out programming for the year and get an extra layer of support. And also, Alea, our chair, is on GYC and will continue to represent us there as well. Okay. Now, I don't know are you going to take this? Okay, because I know you had ideas for it. So.
One thing that we would like to improve this year and years moving forward is more enrollment and just better attendance for our members that are already here. And so we believe that these efforts should be youth-driven, as us as youth are the most powerful tool in motivating other youth in order to come. And so our plans are listed here. We plan on making flyers and putting them in youth-populated areas to gain more attention to our program. We also hope to make an informational video featuring current members talking about their experience in the Youth Council and why it is beneficial to join. We have an Instagram account, and we are planning on making more use of that this year and years moving forward. And we also plan on going to high schools in the Ogden area. There are often club rushes where students can gain knowledge of their opportunities, and so we plan to be there to present about the Ogden City Youth Council, as well as present in seminars in different high schools.
Oh, great. Perfect. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions, and they would be happy to entertain any questions as well.
All right, any questions? For not Brandon.
For not me.
I don't have any questions, but I am amazed every time they come and present at how professional they are and how highly they speak of the Youth Council. And I think if they can't get people to join the Youth Council, there's no way we could do it. So they're definitely the ones that should be doing it.
Basically, I was going to say the same thing. Thank you so much for volunteering your time to learn about the process. And one day you may be up here, you may be the mayor, you may be the president, who knows?
We did have questions yesterday in our meeting yesterday about how old you have to be to run, and I said 18, so you could run
Yeah.
soon, very soon. And so
Please,
it may be sooner than later, so we'll see.
Let us know if you want to
Yeah,
run.
exactly.
All right.
Madam Chair, hearing
Yes,
no
sir.
other comments, I'd like to make a motion to adopt approved resolution 2025-19, modifying the bylaws of the Ogden City Youth Council.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Councilmember Myers and second by Vice Chair Heyer to adopt proposed resolution 2025-19. This is also a roll call vote.
Councilmember Graff,
Aye.
Councilmember Myers,
Aye.
Councilmember Ritchie,
Aye.
Councilmember Blair,
Aye.
Councilmember Chaburka,
Aye.
Vice Chair Heyer,
Aye.
Chair White.
Aye, that passes. Good job, you guys.
And if it pleases the council, we would like to take a photo
We'd
with
like
you
to
all.
take a photo.
That's all right.
You can do it if it doesn't please the council.
Yeah, I know. You're the guy, man.
All right. Come on, Steve.
Come on, Steve.
Come
I was
on.
gonna say that one
Well, he
picture
looked
has
like he
some
was-
old guys in the.
Steve looked like he was vanishing in the one picture.
The human knot.
Yeah, I thought he was in Back to the Future.
You know, that human knot can fail.
So,
They did an okay job with it.
Well, it doesn't usually.
The human knot,
yeah, we could try that sometime.
the team building exercise for council.
Perfect. Got a whole little
Thank
stool
you
out
all.
down there.
I know, we do. I know, I try to every once in a while. I just have to do my tippy toes, so I'm taller than Rich.
That's not too hard.
Just say thanks to the council, or the youth council. Thanks for being here. And then a lot of younger people out here, so something to look forward to maybe as they get into those older years to high school years.
I love it. You know,
Escaped.
I wondered if we lost you.
Yeah. All right, thanks, you guys. All right, next on the agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding any concerns or on any topic. If you please come up to the podium and speak your name, and that's all you have to do.
Hello, my name is Gina Schaefer, and I'm a resident of Edge Hill Drive. And I come to you guys with a petition from our neighborhood. I'm speaking on behalf of the Edge Hill Neighborhood Coalition. I represent 91% of the households on our street, 49 Ogden City voters who have signed our petition opposing the proposed traffic detour through our street, Edge Hill Drive. Our neighborhood is small, residential, and full of children. More than 30 on our street alone, almost one child per house. We are being asked to absorb the campus and commuter traffic that cuts between Weber State and the D Event Center that was deemed unsafe for Taylor Avenue and has prompted a speed table installment on their road. Taylor benefits from sidewalks, 2 bike lane shoulders, and multiple speed monitoring signs. Edge Hill has none of these protections. It is the narrowest street in the neighborhood, lined with old-growth trees, steep driveways that make for blind backouts and blind corners. We have no sidewalks for our children. Combined with heavy on-street parking, cars are often forced to yield single file, and pedestrians have nowhere safe to go. We appreciate that the city commissioned a traffic study on Taylor Avenue, but no adjacent traffic study has been to assess the impact diverting the same volume would have on our street, or on the safety of our children that are walking home from school at the same time that commuters are often leaving campus. What I do know is that the average speed was above the limit at 30 miles per hour based on Councilman Blair's, based on what he was able to share with me. And if the city's concern on Taylor was serious enough to justify taxpayer dollars to add another safety measure for Taylor, a speed table, how can it be acceptable to reroute that same traffic through a street that lacks even the most basic pedestrian protections? That decision would not reduce danger. It would simply move it onto the families who have less infrastructure to defend themselves against it. We are asking for reasonable action from our council members. First, we ask that you reroute traffic to Skyline Drive, a non-residential arterial road designed for this purpose. Edge Hill needs to be closed altogether to through traffic for the duration of the speed table project. Second, we need similar speed mitigation strategies as there are in Taylor Avenue, as we have also suffered from speeding through campus, from the event center to campus. We have shown up here tonight because we believe public safety is non-negotiable. We are organized and informed, and we are asking for you to protect our neighborhood and our children with the same care afforded to others. And I have a copy of petitions. I tried to get as many for everybody, but I might be 1 or 2 short. And thank you. And on the last page, I have a photo of our kids. A few of them were lined up at a bike parade we did last year to give you a sense of how many children there are on our street. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gina.
My name is Janetta Kramer, and I'm one of the residents on the street. And I've taken some pictures to show you where the blind spots on our street are, how narrow and the trees, and how many times I have come down the street myself, come to one of the curves, and found children playing in the streets. many of them on little bikes running out of their yards into the street. Besides that, we also have numerous people that walk their dogs or walk their families down the street. And of course, they walk down the middle of the street because that's where the more direct line of traffic is. So here's the pictures. I'm sorry, I'm not savvy enough to have things on a computer. But anyway, yeah, there you go.
You're fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Janetta, thank you.
Good afternoon to the members of the council. Thank you for hearing from us tonight. My name is William Schaefer. I just wanted to lend my voice to, in addition to the other members of our community, we do consider this a pretty significant safety concern for ourselves and our children. While I understand and support the need for the traffic calming on Taylor Avenue, I have serious concerns about the safety on the street for both the safety of our street for both during and after use of the Edge Hill as a detour route for this project. Our immediate concerns is Edge Hill is a narrow residential street with no safety infrastructure, no sidewalks, no bike lanes, no pedestrian signage. As my wife mentioned, there are approximately 30 kids. It's about one per house. Detouring increased traffic through our neighborhood during construction creates an immediate and unnecessary danger to those children and to the community at large. The long-term consequences, beyond the immediate risk, I'm concerned that long-term impact drivers who use Edge Hill as a detour will become familiar with it as a shortcut. This is already a common issue that will only increase. Once the speed bumps are installed on Taylor, more drivers may continue using Edge Hill to avoid them, creating a lasting safety concern for a road that is not built or designed to handle this through traffic. As already mentioned, the proposed solutions to this is an easy detour around up country hills to Skyline to an already main entrance on the east side of campus. There is no reason for any of these traffics to be detoured through residential areas. It is prioritizing convenience over safety, and we find that to be unacceptable. I just want to thank you all for having the time to hear us tonight. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name's Sean Malin. I'm also an Edge Hill resident, lived there for about 3 years. To echo what they said, I'm not going to belabor the point, but Edge Hill is not designed to accept all that extra traffic. I'm fully supportive of what's going on Taylor, making it safer for the residents on there and for us as we walk the street. But traffic is going to follow the path of least resistance. You've got College Drive just east of Taylor and Edge Hill Drive that don't have any of these speed mitigation techniques. We, on our way here, ran into 2 police officers that were parked on our street because they knew what was going to happen. And in the hour that they were there, they'd already given out 4 speeding tickets with an average speed in excess of 10 miles per hour of the speed limit. At 25 miles an hour, any of our kids are going to get killed if they get hit. 35 miles an hour, you can imagine it's probably going to have the same result. So just like what they said, we'd really like a detour to be placed up above on Skyline rather than straight through ours. Safety of our kids, safety of ourselves is at stake here, and there's a really simple solution to just use Skyline. Thank you.
My name is Brianne McMullen. I also am here to represent the Edge Hill neighborhood. And excuse me, I'm not going to echo anything that they have said because I think they've done a great job. But I just want to kind of paint the picture of our neighborhood. We're kind of a unique little street. Our family moved here 10 years ago, and we were one of the only families with children on the street, and it was kind of a weird little anomaly. But since then, we have had a tremendous amount of people move into our street, and all of them have children. And because of that, you know, and we really foster a sense of community on our street, as you can tell. We love each other. The police officers that were sitting outside of my house today said, this is really unique what you guys have going on here, because we were all outside just fired up, you know, because today was day 1 of construction and it was a freeway. And you know, we hold barbecues every year. We get together. We have Christmas get-togethers. The kids play. We have bike parades. It's a really amazing community on our tiny little street that we try to really honor. When we moved in, the cute neighbors that lived there before us, like the Lofgreen family, said, you know, we've done this for 30, 40, 50 years. It's your turn to take over and make sure that this little community of Edge Hill Drives stays unique and tight. And so we've tried really hard to facilitate and make that happen. But because of that, we do live in the street sometimes, right? Our street is often thought of as a dead end because generally speaking, everyone takes Taylor. But opening this up now allows people to realize that it's not. And we are going to absorb a significant amount of people, and we're all very, very concerned about that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kaylee Copenhaver. I also live on Edge Hill Drive. Kind of just to mirror what everyone says, the concerns that have arisen because of this through traffic and the amount of children that are on the street, just as Bree also just explained our community. The community, just to paint even a better picture with these kids, it's the community where the kids know where their friends are because their bikes are in the middle of their yard. That doesn't exist very much anymore. And that's what our community is, especially during the summertime. Kids are always in the road riding their bikes. I have young kids, even though I try to get them to ride their helmets and to look both ways before they come out of the road, they don't always listen. And now, just since this day one, I just noticed the increase of traffic. And I'm concerned about my children, especially because they are going way over the speed limit of 25, all the blind spots, all the things that kind of have been mentioned. And I just want to kind of implore safety measures for our children who are the most vulnerable at this street. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bring her.
Hello, my name is Chandler Copenhaver. We are on 4191 Edge Hill Drive. This is my wife here, and we have 4 children. We represent about 10% of the kids on that street. And so we absolutely love living in this area, living in Ogden. We've lived here the whole time we've been married. And it's particularly important to us that we have a space that is a great place to nurture and to raise a family. This particular area was endearing to us. We both met at Weber State University, so it's very important to us, as alumni. It's an important location because of that and the proximity. We appreciate the fact that and what the university does for our city, but we also want to be considerate, respectful in both ways. I was one of those students that was at one point, driving faster than I should have to try to get in time, to a class, right? You're running 5 minutes behind, and so you speed up a little bit. It was Officer Jared McClure who was nice enough to come and patrol for us today. He sat with a radar. He actually pulled over within an hour span. We were all outside talking. Within an hour span, he had 4 people pulled over, one of which was going 20 over the speed limit, so 55 miles an hour or more, and that person got a ticket. But that was just an hour's gap of the time frame of today, which at the beginning of today, we actually did have some barriers on our street. There were some barriers that was completely unrelated, but a resident on our street was getting some work done for their sewer line. So they had, through traffic blocked on both sides of Edge Hill, and we didn't see any increase to traffic. But as soon as those were removed, which they were removed once any hour plumbing was done with their work, the traffic increased dramatically. And of course it does at the end of the school day. So we do ask that there be additional consideration around this. There's been a lot of attention around this area, we realized, when we first moved in about 7 years ago. What is it called? Ogden Express, the BRT line, right? I didn't realize it was named something. The Ogden Express, or the BRT line, was being worked on, which was to increase, in fact, it was brought up today, to discuss ways to improve the thoroughway. And it doesn't seem to have necessarily resolved the issues that we're having, especially with Taylor and Edge Hill, respectively. That it's kind of a little bit far. It's harder for students to walk, but it's a great solution for the amount of students that are using it, using the bus. It seems to be working well. There's a lot of cars parked, and there's a lot of people that are utilizing that effectively. And so we do ask additional consideration for this residential area, and appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Logan Iverson. I also live on Edge Hill. I am also a high school teacher at Ben Lomond High School. I actually didn't hear that my student was deceased until you mentioned it, sir. So,
Wow.
Safety after the bomb threat and after the shooting today is really high on my radar. I have 3 young daughters, and I also kind of want to point out a couple other things. There is only one street light on this street. Last week, I actually witnessed as 3 gentlemen helped themselves to unlocked cars on our street, including some of the people that have talked today. It is a dark street. As the sun starts going down and this increase in traffic kind of starts to increase, I wanted to point out the fact that not only is it tight quarters that we've all painted very clearly for you, but also the fact that the lights are just not in place, especially as these lights go down later towards Halloween season is coming and our kids are out in the street having a great time. I will also point out the fact that our street is the flat street. So everyone from Taylor, who doesn't like it because it's too busy, comes down and plays with us, and Skyline comes down and plays with us. So not only do we have the 30 kids between the age of 2 to 14, but we also have all the ages of age 2 to 14 on our street from Skyline and from Taylor as well. So with that being said, I think that there's, let's call it 60 to 80 kids on a given date on our street, playing in the street, having a great time, being safe. And I don't want this awareness of this dark, beautiful family street coming to all the awareness of all these people that need to drive into the university. So with that being said, also, one of my partners here, she was like, man, we also need to talk about the snow. So as the snow starts to fly and those streets start to come in, we all know what that's like when there's a 1-lane street with a snowplow going down the middle, don't you guys think? Yeah. You know what I mean? Okay. So all these students that learn that there's no speed bump on Edge Hill, they're cutting in. I can tell you right now, I also went to Weber State. I'm an alumni. I got my master's degree in education from there. I went there for 6 years, okay? And I also went to the University of Utah, and I know what these things are like. So what I see writing on there's a shadow of that future blockade that's gonna be at the end of Taylor, cutting our neighborhood off from Weber State, just like all the other neighborhoods that surround Weber State. We're the last line of defense of everyone traveling through a residential area to go into the school. So with that being said, also, as I was driving down here, on the map, it says it's 40th Street, but up on the sign above the stoplight, 3950 South goes into a roundabout. It goes up around Dixon, up Village Drive, and hits Taylor right next to the university. It takes me about 30 seconds longer to go that direction than it does to go up by the way that I normally do. So anyway, I appreciate you guys' time. You guys are amazing. I want you to know I have more points.
Email.
Call us, email.
Good evening, Ogden City Council. My name is Phil Nestoriak. I'm also a resident on Edge Hill. I grew up in this neighborhood. I actually grew up on Taylor Avenue, and then moved into a home on Edge Hill. I have 5 children. Zakai is one of my sons, that gave the pledge today. As was mentioned, it's a wonderful neighborhood. One of the reasons why I moved back there with my family. I grew up, and I've noticed the increase in traffic as Weber State University has increased over the years. I've seen it over the 40 years, that I've been in this community, and I've seen how on the north side of campus they've closed that off to through traffic, and as my friend Logan mentioned, we're the last kind of access road, Edge Hill and Taylor going from the Event Center to the football stadium at Weber State. I propose, I recommend, suggest that the Ogden City Council look at putting a gate in or something to prevent this traffic and just to increase safety, to push traffic over Country Hills Drive to Skyline Drive and then over to 36th Street instead of just directly through, and to uphold the integrity of our neighborhood, to increase and increase the safety for our children. And as was mentioned, there's inadequate street lights. We don't have the sidewalks. We don't have the speed bumps and the things. Before I came this evening, I noticed that the cars were speeding down Edge Hill, and they were also coming down Taylor Avenue and speeding around College Drive just to get around the construction. So something does need to be done. I appreciate your attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Can you stand up, please?
Autumn, this is your chance. If you want to say something, this is your moment. Go ahead. You got this.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
What's your name? How about this? Can you see me? What's your name?
Autumn.
You want to say something to us? Go ahead.
My name is Autumn, and this is my mom, and we're trying, we just,
Oh.
You're okay. That was so good, baby. I'm proud of you.
You want to finish your story for her? Okay. All right. Good job, though. Thank you. Good job, Autumn.
No, you're coming.
I want you guys to know they've been asking to talk to you for the last 2 hours.
All right. Say your name first.
My name is Bria Iverson, and I live on Edge Hill. I was gonna say, please help us keep our street safe. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Good job, Bree.
My name is Rosick Mullen, and I also live on Edge Hill. And I just want to say that, so my bus stop is on that street. It's at the end. And I've noticed, like every time I walked like there in the morning, I've noticed like cars just like flying down the road, and like all of us have to get over to the side of the road to avoid them and stuff. And so there's like a bunch of cars on the street, so they can't really see you. And so, yeah.
Good job. Thanks. All right. Anyone else? All right. Anybody else online? We'll go online. Hisato.
Hi, Heath Sato, Ogden resident. First, I know we're all devastated by the news of the shooting today, and my heart goes out to the family and friends. But my main concern tonight is that I want to make it clear that I'm a strong supporter of local businesses, and that absolutely includes the Standard Examiner. A thriving local paper capable of real journalism is vital for a healthy community. And I want to make clear that I fully support the mayor's efforts to better interface with Ogden citizens. Improved communication from our city leaders is a welcome goal, It's long past due, and I genuinely believe this newsletter is a step in the right direction. My concern has been about the execution. A city publication should be clearly defined as just that, a newsletter from City Hall. Calling it Ogden City News, especially when it's presented in a newsprint format, creates the impression of independent journalism where none exists. But that's a minor part of my concerns. The line gets a little more blurred when the company paid by the city to print and distribute this newsletter is the very same company that we, the public, rely on to be an independent watchdog, charged with holding truth to power. Putting aside any speculation about quid pro quo, my concern is more fundamental than that. It's about eroding the public's trust in both our government and our press. There's a long-standing and sacred American principle that there should be a firm, bright line between the government and the fourth estate, the press. For the press to do its job, it doesn't have to. It's got to be independent, and it has to be seen as independent by everyone. When our local newspaper has a significant contract with the city, it creates a permanent question in the public's mind. Is the story being reported impartially, or is there a financial reason to stay in the city's good graces to keep that contract? This doubt it creates, no matter how small it is, it chips away at the trust that we're having such a hard time keeping already. We should absolutely find ways to support local journalism, but I think we need to do so without creating even the appearance of a conflict of interest. I sincerely and respectfully urge you to reconsider this arrangement so there's never any question about the independence of our press. And just one last PS. Councilmember Myers, your question regarding the Union Plaza skiff deal, the city's still dealing with a lawsuit over that project's failure, and a lot of it's linked to our CED director that we had to pay to leave, I think. Thanks. Look into it.
All right. Going to Linda's iPhone.
Hi, Linda Sanchez. I had a wonderful opportunity to listen to debates on who is going to take council. And I tell you what, these questions that I heard were so phenomenal. It really made me just think how important all of you are. And because not all the time do we agree, and not all the time are we as pleasant as we always could be. With that being said, I just want to thank you for what you guys do, if you don't get thanked enough. So with that being said, Council Chaburka, I just want to tell you, I know that it's not yet, but I am really going to miss you. Sometimes I have questions, a lot of times I have questions, and I reach out to all of you, and consistently you're the one that answers me back. So I don't know. I'm having withdrawals already.
Call me anytime now.
So I just want to say thank you to the mayor who answered me back this last weekend about an issue, and I wasn't for sure what to do. And I know it was on a weekend, and I'm so sorry. I didn't want to bother you, but I was thinking, how much is this going to cost the city? I better hurry. So anyway, Marcia, I do want to tell you thank you for answering me today, but most of the time you don't answer me as well as always. So thank you guys for all you do, and I'll try not to be too crazy, but that's what you guys are there for, is to answer questions and to get down to the nitty and gritty and maybe help me to understand things a little better. Anyways, God bless all of you, and God bless Ogden. I yield back.
Thanks, Linda. All right, next on the agenda, or next up is Teresa's iPhone. Sorry, the agenda.
Good evening. This is Teresa Bramwell. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. First of all, I want to say how sorry I am to hear that a student was killed at or near Ben Lomond High School. I graduated from Ben Lomond High School, and that's devastating news to hear. I feel so sad for the family and friends of that young man. Secondly, I have some questions about some things that were on the meeting today, and a question about the state of Utah had its big homelessness convention last week. I believe it was on Friday and Saturday of last week. And I wonder if anybody from Ogden was in attendance at that Utah State Homelessness Council Committee meeting. And if there was anyone there from Ogden City, what their takeaways were from that, if Ogden will be making any changes to how it deals with its homeless people and homeless crime problems. So that's my first question. My second question is about the middle income housing that was on the meeting today. I was kind of shocked to hear that there are specific loans available to create housing for middle income people or middle class people that are intended to only be rentals. I find it very hard to believe that there would be a single person in Ogden City that makes $102,000 a year that wants to live in a rental apartment. I believe that person would want to live in something that they own, either a home or a condominium or a townhouse that they are the owner of. And so I'm wondering if that middle income housing includes anything for home ownership. I think it should. Looks like my time's up. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. Anyone else? All right, let's go to, I guess I have some questions about the traffic detour, and I don't know if the mayor has any information for us regarding that traffic detour.
Sure. Thank you everybody for being here. Like I said in my comments about the shooting incident today, we're not going to take the safety of our kids lightly. It's just not going to happen. So I just want you to know we share that concern. We have a number of tools and options that we'll consider. I've got some professionals in our team. There's a lot of tools I think that we could put into place. I'll just say that we've got to get through the temporary installation of that improvement on Taylor. It's not intended to divert traffic at all. They're built in a way that slows it down. We don't predict or project any diverting, but if that did happen, we would respond to that. Also, I don't know exactly what the remedy will end up being. I just wanted to commit to you that I'll get with my team. We'll look at every remedy that we have at our disposal, and we'll put into place whatever we can to ensure the safety of our kids, both now but also in the long term. We do run into issues with the traffic on the east bench. It does seem that we put one intervention in, it just causes a chain reaction that we kind of have to chase, and we're getting pretty good at predicting where those chain reactions happen, though. This is not our first rodeo, luckily, but just want to let you know that this is not something that we take lightly. It's something that we will follow up on, and we will take different measures moving forward. We'll look at diverting the detour. We'll look at, I was interested in the any hour plumbing part. We've got tools like that we can put into place, but we can look at closures as well and see what those impacts are. But we need to make sure that we're not just, from an engineering standpoint, we do have to follow state standards and protocols, or else we do put everybody at risk. So we want to make sure that we're stepping through this carefully, but quickly to make sure we protect everybody. So I just want to have a moment, because I haven't been confronted with this yet, to get with my team and see what their recommendations are going to be. But we'll make sure that we're communicative back and as timely as we possibly can be. I do know that I know we noticed the neighborhood on the timeline, or the potential timeline. Know that those are maximums. Hopefully weather cooperates and we get that project done as quickly as possible, and we'll continue to push to ensure that happens. Hopefully even cutting the timeline in half, but in that meantime, we'll figure out what measures we have and options we have. Okay. So thanks for making me aware and us aware, and we'll be back in touch if that's okay. Okay. As for the newsletter, Heath, I'm sorry for the reaction that it's caused amongst some. We've gotten tons of positive praise about our efforts to be communicative. And so thank you for recognizing that too. I did not anticipate the reaction, and I'll tell you why. The idea didn't come out of nowhere. We didn't cook it up as a fourth pillar or whatever. I can't remember the term that they're using on this, but journalism. The fourth estate or whatever. Yep. I was at a meeting in Mill Creek City a few months ago. It was a United Way event after hours that the United Way director invited me to. As I was there, I saw at City Hall what's called Mill Creek City newsletter. So I looked into that. I took a copy back. Asked the mayor of Mill Creek City, how's that working for you? It's great. The community loves it. Are other cities doing it? Yeah, it's a really common tool. You should consider it. And remember, a few months ago, was really close to July 1st when we finally approved our first and only, finally, a communications team for the city of Ogden. How about that? Did not have a formal communications team here at the city before I took office. So it took me a full fiscal cycle to get to it. Through consolidations and efficiencies, we were able to put that together without raising taxes. So that was the context that I came up with the idea. I asked my colleague and mayor in Mill Creek City about the experience that they'd had and how much the residents loved it. I thought it would be a great tool for us, and I still think that it is. Anybody that does any printing in the state of Utah has to consider the Standard Examiner. What most people don't know is that the Standard Examiner is the largest printing press in the state of Utah for this. Who knew that? A lot of people look at the newspaper and think, how does it sustain itself? It sustains itself through the printing press. It's an enormous operation up in BDO, Ogden. They do all of the major publications in the state of Utah and more, many, many magazines and different periodicals, et cetera, et cetera. So most things that are printed in the state of Utah, my understanding is, they're coming out of the Standard Examiner. I am happy that we have that in our backyard, especially when our projections are, because again, our goal is not to raise taxes. So we're looking for every efficiency and cut we possibly can. So we were able to create a communications team by finding efficiencies, including what we project to be just over $35,000 per year, and to increase from $92,000 per year from our past practices, using impressions for a quarterly magazine, up to $394,356 resident contacts, while also saving money. And I think that those are great things. I do take the input into consideration, however, we're not trying to mislead people as to what it is. This is a newspaper looking, I guess it's a newspaper looking thing that confused some residents into thinking that we are, quote, fascists. This is national and international rhetoric happening in Ogden, calling us and referring to us as fascists when we're just community leaders and neighbors trying to communicate with the people that we serve. So we'll look at some changes on the way that the Ogden City News looks so that we're not confusing anybody. For anybody that's paying attention, it's written completely and fully by our staff. That's it. We pay the Standard Examiner to print it and distribute it for us. And just so you know, we have a contract and we've shared that when asked. It's fine. There's no secrets about it. I have nothing to hide. That's why we're doing it. We don't have anything to hide. we're trying to be more engaging, more transparent, more communicative with our community. That's what we're doing. I do take into account the comments that were made about misleading people. That's not the intent. Just know that the standard examiner lost money on our first month of distribution, so there's a good chance that the contract wouldn't continue anyway because it's a big time money loser. They're hoping to make back revenue by selling ads in the thing, of which I believe we have some guidelines on what kind of ads they can and cannot run. So there's some limits there. But just know that the place where it's coming from is we're using best available tools that are used across communities across the country and in Utah. We got the idea from a neighboring city. They love how it works. Their residents really appreciate the outreach, which I heard Heath that you do too. So thank you for that. It's just that when you look for a printing press, that printing press just happens to be in our backyard. Now there has been some insinuation that quote positive press about me has been linked to some sort of a buy-in or quid pro quo. I won't point it out here. I'll just refer generally to all the bad press that has also been in the paper about me. You don't have to look too close to find it both ways. But that is just the job. But I also will say I am unabashedly and unapologetic about making myself available. I do not turn down interviews very often. In fact, there was a national publication about the loss of federal jobs here in Ogden, and they mentioned that I was the only elected official to give them access to an interview, in which they then berated me. So to say that, well, they painted me in a light that's not true. It's shocking that national media would do such a thing. Go figure. I get it, the lack of mistrust in our country, I do. And that's why I take the points seriously. But at some point, we have got to say to ourselves, are we a community that looks to lift others, to build a community, to build people, and build this place into everything that we know that we are and that we can be? Or are we going to call each other fascists? We are better than that. And if I have to capitulate to that in order to make decisions around here, we are going nowhere fast. So let's watch our rhetoric in this city and make sure it does not match what we see across this country and across this world, which does lead to political violence. Not saying that it is here, but it is that kind of rhetoric that puts us in this position, that puts us in danger across the country, and we've got to do better. So that's the intent and the focus of our communications efforts and strategies. I will always be a mayor that will ignore rhetoric and will always prioritize people and progress. And when I do that, I will be the one that lifts and to build. I recognize the challenges before us. Some were brought to us today. It's the job. Things happened in our city today that were absolute tragedy. It's our job to respond. It's our job to make sure it doesn't happen anymore. And we're going to do everything that we can. But for anybody that thinks we do everything overnight and that everything's just magically fixed, it's just not that way. But to anybody and everybody that thinks everybody here's a crook or some sort of a fraudster, it ain't that way either. I get it that there are politicians across the country that are, and they give every one of us a bad rap. But most people know where every one of us live because we are neighbors in this city and we're community builders and community leaders. And that's the difference between Washington, D.C. and Ogden, USA. And it's a big difference. For the comments about homelessness, middle income, absolutely we're at those meetings. We are at every meeting possible around homelessness. We are a leader in this state around homelessness. There's so much going on in Salt Lake Valley that they often look to us to lead because we are set apart from all of that. That said, we are also exceedingly frustrated by the lack of support around us up here. The time is over that we are, I said it earlier on another issue, we're not going to continue to take everybody's burden and just keep packing poverty on us. Homelessness happens in every city across the state. Fact. It's proven. Yet not every city steps up to help. And we do more than any other city per capita than anywhere else in the state. Yet we continue to be maligned as though we do nothing or not doing enough. That when we finally put our foot down and say enough's enough, other cities are going to step up and help and do their part. We get maligned because for not having a heart. And more of this rhetoric around being fascist and being heartless and denying money that we could have. That's a bunch of crap, you guys. I don't want people building more homeless shelters in our city because I want other cities to step up and lift and to do their part on behalf of humanity. That's just the fact. And until they do, you're going to hear me loud and clear standing up for our city and for our people, because we do have a heart in this city and we do serve selflessly, and we do so more than anybody else in the state of Utah, if not the country, and we continue to lead on the cutting edge of innovation with our advocate programs. And that's just the tip of what we do. So yes, we were absolutely at that meeting, and we're absolutely, actually, Mary leaned over and said she's awaiting a report from our staff that were there. On the middle income housing, yes, I totally prefer ownership product. I'm sure anybody making $100,000 also would prefer it, but you should know that $100,000 these days is not enough to buy a home, and that's the unfortunate reality. The macroeconomics that are before us right now are changing, absolutely changing the paradigm and the reality for our families. And we have got to do something to make sure that we are providing an entire spectrum of housing types and across the spectrum of housing affordability. We have always had, and the federal government has always provided subsidies for low income housing and rent, and we've had too much of that here. So we're making it clear that middle income families can be served as well in this community. And if you want to rent, that will be available to you. If you want to own, where other programs are making that available too. But our entire housing strategy is built on equalizing the imbalance right now that we have of rent versus ownership. And we are doing everything we can to provide ownership opportunities. In fact, we'll be sending out more information soon on our housing strategies and housing program to lay all of that out. But in the meantime, we want to do everything we can to provide for middle income, middle class families in our community. And that's what that proposal was intended to do. And finally, sorry, I'm long-winded tonight. I'm fired up. I get fired up a lot, especially when we lose a life of a young one in our city. And I want to just say that instances like that are never okay. I think we all agree there. The instance did not happen at the school, you guys. It happened after school, it happened away from the school, but guess where the first place they went for aid was? They went to the school. They went to the safest place that they knew that they could get help. That's not what you're going to read in the newspaper today, you guys. They're looking to paint us in a bad light in this city. They love to reinforce narratives about us. You know why they went to that school? Because they know they feel safe there, and they knew that they had help. And they found it. They found our school resource officer. And I'm sure right about now, that officer, who I know by name and his wife's name, are at home struggling over what happened today. So I just want to say that amongst all the rhetoric and amongst all of the things that you're going to read in the media, that we are a city that cares deeply. We're a city that shows up for each other. And we're a city that's going to keep showing up. And that our police department's out right now, taking every lead possible. And we're going to put every resource we have to bring any suspect or suspects to justice. We won't stop until we do. That's just the city that we are. And I'm really proud of that. And I know that there are people out there that are not as proud as we are. And they speak negatively about us, about our city. And they seek to do things here in this city that would keep us from lifting and helping our people in our city. And I'm not going to let it happen. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sorry you had to listen to my rant and my tirade. It's just a really human experience that we're all going through together. And that's not something I don't think we should have to apologize to each other for. Thank you all.
Thanks for the follow-up, Mayor. So just one thing that you didn't touch on, and sorry, the SCIF, but I would like to address that real quick. We know that the lawsuit has been dismissed to the city and Weber County, or Weber State, thank you, not the county, the city and Weber State, and so that is not the impediment of the SCIF being here. So Just wanted to throw that out as well. Mayor, I hope that you will, I don't know if, Gina, it sounds like you were the person or a point person, so maybe just even contact or having Taylor or Justin or just be a point person for that. It sounds like the timeline is end of month, if I remember what you said earlier today.
Is it appropriate to just quickly comment on that and respond?
No. Can't, sorry. If we could just make sure that we have some good communications going back and forth. I thought the suggestions were really good coming from this group, and so maybe we can look at other opportunities to detour at least detour for now. So I don't know if that's a possibility or not, but I'm just wanting to make sure we hit everything. And it just seems like there's a lot more issues going on in a lot of our neighborhoods around speeding, not just necessarily this neighborhood, but that there are a lot of other issues, whether that's safety concerns or snowplows or even lights. So anyways, if we could just keep working with this neighborhood, that would be great. All right, comments from the council?
I'd just like to thank the Edge Hill neighborhood for coming tonight. You took time out of your evenings, you brought your kids. It's wonderful, it's not easy. And you came to connect with us about something that is important to you. Thank you for that. We invite your participation and the participation of all of our residents, and you guys did it today. You're a force. Not only have you got a neighborhood coalition, you've got letterhead. Which is really impressive.
Fast turnaround.
That is really something. So I want to put forth too, you probably all know, I'm your city council representative. Bart is your neighbor. Don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. We got your communication today, and it's wonderful that you're here. But we're all available via text message or cell phone call or email all the time. So we're just waiting to hear from you. There's a concern, somebody spoke earlier about this being an eye-opener for people that travel off of Country Hills Drive to Weber State University. Oh, Taylor isn't the only way we can get there. And we don't want Edge Hill now to become known as an alternative route to Weber State when considering, do I do Taylor, because it's got a speed bump. And nor do we want Edge Hill to become known because there's a terrible accident that injures somebody on that street without sidewalks. It's narrow, there's parking on the street. And I've got Google Earth pulled up, and you're absolutely right. There are two entrances, Edge Hill and Taylor, that lead into the university, and the university is isolated from every other direction. And as you zoom out, there is what I'd kind of describe as a beltway around Weber State University in the form of Country Hills and Skyline and back down to Harrison on the north side. And I would really like to encourage the city to look at utilizing that beltway to provide access to parking at the university and not this last neighborhood in the two streets that lead off of Country Hills Drive to the university.
So, and we just went through, a very good traffic calming idea on Wall Avenue, and maybe some of those types of things can be looked at across other streets that we have. I mean, we can look at some of those as we redo some of these streets. So I think there's a lot of ways to do traffic calming.
Chair, do you mind if I say a few things? Are we
No,
good?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I mind very much.
Do you mind? Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I would just like to echo Councilmember Graff's support of it. It's wonderful to see you all here. Like he said, I'm your neighbor. I know most of you personally. Little backstory, I don't know if any of you know this. You talk about riding bikes and running up and down those streets. Councilmember Ritchie was doing that long before any of you ever dreamed of living in those houses. So he's the original Edge Hill legend. So just a little something to think about. When I got a call from Brianne, and I just assumed it was about cookies, but it wasn't. It was about traffic and problems on Edge Hill. And so we've had these conversations. I agree, Dave. We don't want Edge Hill to be known not only as an alternate route, but we don't want Edge Hill or College Drive, because I've gotten 2 calls today that College Drive is getting speed up on there too. But we don't want those to be known as now a quicker route, right? A faster route. And I trust our engineering team. Like I said, last year when we met, they came up with, we met with the residents on Taylor and on a little bit on College Drive and had some ideas, and they were able to come up with this. And I'm sure we can come up with something that works for everyone, because that was the overall plea at that time was Weber State has closed off every other entrance, every other city entrance, and they had their own entrances. They have an entrance off of Harrison. They have an entrance off of Skyline. They have other entrances, and we just, the residents would like to see Weber State use those entrances a little more, and our neighborhoods a little less. And so I wholeheartedly understand that argument. I've walked 1,000 times on Edge Hill with my dog, and it is a great, quiet, safe street where people should be able to do whatever they want and ride their bikes and run and play and go to their friend's house. So I applaud all of you for being here. Like he said, you all have my number. I'm happy to respond with anything I can. I've given all of your concerns to our team, and they're working right now, and they'll continue to come up with ideas, and they'll work through me, and any information I get, I was able to share some last night. I'll continue to share that. But you're welcome to reach out to any of us. I don't think anyone up here would not want to help keep your children safe. So feel free to reach out, and we'll do what we can. On another note, I applaud you all. These last couple days, I think in 4 days, I've had the opportunity to be in the last 5 days, I've had the opportunity to be in 4 different areas of our city, and our job in the city is to provide safe neighborhoods for everybody, right? Everybody deserves to live in a safe neighborhood, but our job isn't to provide a fun neighborhood or a welcoming neighborhood or a tight-knit neighborhood. And we were at a meeting on Saturday, and I keep hearing this theme throughout Ogden City, and it truly just warms my heart. It really does. That no matter where I'm at, I keep hearing from different residents that they love their neighborhood. They love where they live. They love being in Ogden, and they love the people that they live near and the neighborhoods they live in. And sure, we can always do a better job, and we're trying to continually get better at providing safety and making sure that every resident is safe and every neighborhood is safe and every community is safe. But I truly applaud, and since you guys are here, you can take this, but I truly applaud all the neighborhoods and all the little communities in our city that create that sense of community, and that create that sense of neighborhood, and that create that brotherhood and that bond. Because as somebody that's had the opportunity to meet with different residents and different little communities, it's resonating, and the ripple keeps getting bigger and bigger, and people, it's not, well, we live in this area and so it's the best area in the city. It's 5 different pockets throughout the city, and that's a blessing. Everybody, we talk a lot about affordable housing and quality housing, and I'm happy that people are moving into Ogden and finding wonderful communities to live in, and it's spread throughout the entire city. But it's because of people like you. It's because of people like you. We can do our part, but I applaud all of you for making those communities home to so many people. So thank you.
All right. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate everyone who came as well. I look at the residents of Edge Hill, and I only recognize a couple of you. Things have changed a little bit, I guess, since we moved out of there. But I used to ride my bike from Edge Hill up to Ross Drive, where the Ashtons lived, and then I would get all my newspapers, and then I'd ride all the way up to Buse and then around. And you can imagine on a Sunday and on a Thanksgiving Day how big those papers were. It was quite the chore. But again, I just want to echo what's been said already. Thank you for being out here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and concerns with everyone on this. I do want to recognize, I appreciate the police presence that's been there today. I think that's a definitely, I know back when I was growing up, if there were people getting tickets in an area, that was a way to deter people from going through there. So hopefully that'll continue. I don't know if that presence, at least for the next few days while things are considered and looked at, that can be an excellent way to try and help make sure we address that. But again, thanks to the mayor for listening and taking that thought in. It's an administrative thing, so we'd like to hear about these things for sure. And as council representatives, we want to try and represent as much as possible and share those concerns and amplify those. And we also want to support the mayor when a decision is made and the reasonings behind it. So again, thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks. Other comments?
Chair, can I may say one more thing? Sorry, I know I said a lot.
You have gone by.
I just want to apologize to everybody that's here. Everyone's like, why is the mayor so mad? Hopefully you're okay with me being human, for one, but I get really defensive on behalf of our city. I think that's part of why I'm here. And I agree with Councilmember Blair. He said people in the city love where we live, and we do. And part of loving where you live is standing up for the place you live, standing up for the people that you live with. And you know, if I had $1 for every time we were accused of being crooks without any evidence, if I had a $1 for every time we've tried to respond and be even more transparent and more responsive so that we can build trust, yet to continue to be maligned for the same dang thing. It's just that at some point you move on and you just say, you know what, we're Ogden, USA, we are doing the best we can, and it's great. And we're going to continue to do better. And we have to have a positive mindset of hope and of purpose and of intention to lift and to build and to become. And when you are constantly in a mindset of just negativity and criticism, it just keeps us from focusing on what's right. So that's where I'm coming from. I'll always lead from that place for Ogden. And when we're trying to be dragged into this perpetual cycle of negativity and toxicity, I won't do it. I just can't stand it. And so I will defend our city from that. And I will also defend ourselves by being the kind of city that does things right, that does things transparently. Not perfectly, by any means. You can't do this scale of work perfectly. But we're going to keep always on a focus of continual growth and improvement. So that's where I'm coming from tonight. And my apologies if I'm a little salty, but I'm only electable in Ogden for a reason. So thanks for giving me the opportunity.
I just have one real quick comment. I've been a lot of places as well over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And one of the things I want to remind everyone is to make sure that you're clearly marking your address. As somebody that's been trying to get out and knock a few doors, I'm realizing that a lot of people don't actually display their addresses either on their house or even on the streets. And so to make it a little more safe for if ever need be to get response from our firefighters or our police department or any other hour service, it's just helpful to make sure that your addresses are displayed pretty prominently. So just my plug on some of the safety stuff. So. Any other comments?
Motion to adjourn. I think these littles are going to
They're ready?
explode if we don't let them go home.
Second.
All right, motion to adjourn by Vice Chair Heyer, second by Councilman Member Ritchie. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, good night, everyone.